Hi folks.
Eves Valley sawmill and closure near Nelson. What does that tell you about the economic picture, and is the government going to be providing any help?
Look, it tells us that for too long we've said no to too many things. Now we don't have the generation, we don't have the electricity, and the prices are too high for some industries to be viable. I mean, if you're in the sawmill or the pulp and paper, you're basically using electricity to break up wood and turn it into more valuable products. If electricity is more expensive, the business is not viable. What this tells us is the government has to deal with consenting for generation, maybe some tweaks around how the electricity market works, stop saying no to just about every type of energy that works, and allow some more generation to be built. Those are the sorts of things that will make a difference here. People say, oh, you know, there's an easy fix, the government can go in and save a business. Maybe sometimes, but once the government gets into the business of saving businesses, it's just a question of where do you stop doing that?
Does it concern you though that this could just contribute to an even higher unemployment rate?
Yeah, it's massively concerning when anyone loses their job. But if you look at the New Zealand economy, in my lifetime, most of the jobs have probably gone and been replaced. If you think about how many different industries, we used to assemble cars in New Zealand, we used to make TVs in New Zealand. Now we get that done overseas, and we do things that we're better at. We have industries that no one could have dreamed of a generation ago. So what you really want is continued innovation, continued job creation, so that you can replace jobs with better jobs. That's the long-term solution, but it doesn't mean it's okay to lose jobs just because electricity is too expensive, because for too long governments have stopped people building generators.
Does New Zealand have any enemies?
Sorry,
There's a video circulating which seems to have Penny Henare confirming that Labour would repeal the gang patch ban if they got into power. What do you say to that?
Well, sounds like Penny Henare is going after the gang vote. My experience, those guys aren't always very good at getting organised to go and vote. But hey, look, if that's whose side he's on, I would say the rest of us are in favour of every other New Zealander being able to go about their business without being intimidated by groups of people who dress up and behave with the intention of intimidating people. You might notice in the last couple of years, these big gang convoys, this intimidation that people were totally sick of, it's actually stopped. And why anyone would think it's a smart political move to campaign on going back to gangs running rampant in New Zealand, you have to ask Penny Henare.
I mean, Chris Hipkins said that he wouldn't repeal the ban. You've got Penny Henare now saying the opposite. I mean, what does that say about communication inside the party?
Well, it sounds like Labour are just as disorganised in opposition as they were in government.
Does New Zealand have any enemies other than cats and possums?
Well, unfortunately, there are bad people in the world and they are seeking to do harm to us. Even as we speak, there are people online who are trying to disrupt New Zealand politics. They go into our communities and try and incite people. This kind of thing, unfortunately, is a reality. And
why would we need helicopters with a precision kill system?
Very simply because we are part of an alliance of countries who share our values, who value democracy and universal human rights, and we need the ability to deter people who might try and attack us. Now, can New Zealand defend itself alone? No, it can't. Can we defend ourselves in an Anzac alliance? Maybe. Can we defend ourselves as a wider democratic alliance? Definitely, but we have to play our part.
So it's about deterrence rather than actually going out and killing things?
Well, of course, one of the deterrents to people who would attack us is that if they attack us, we might kill them. That's how wars work, unfortunately. I'd rather not have one, but that's how they work.
We've had a significant announcement from the government today in terms of defence spending, and some of that spending will be, buying these Seahawks from US makers. What kind of impact do you expect that to have in terms of our trade deficit and tariffs potentially?
Look, the ACT Party campaigned for and won more defence spending. We have to pull our weight in a democratic alliance. Will it affect our trade balance? I'm certain that making a substantial purchase from American businesses will have an effect on the trade balance. But I think we've got to be clear. We're buying these helicopters to protect our sailors and our ships as they protect our country. Whatever comes as a consequence of that is secondary.
What's driving the improved attendance data at schools, do you think?
Look, a few things. Frankly, it's partly just a change in attitude. We had a couple of years of saying stay home, save lives. subtext, education's not really that important. Now we have a government that gets up every day and says, going to school is the most important thing you can do for your future, because getting knowledge from school is important, and the number one determinant of how much knowledge you will get from school is how often you're actually there. We've also put more funding into the attendance service. We've also started publishing the data daily. We've issued new health guidance. We've started investigating prosecutions. We haven't made any yet, but it's very clear the ministry is willing to take prosecutions if people don't come to school. And we've also made sure that people can see every day what the data is, and I think I might have already used that example, but that's okay.
It's still not great though, right? If you look back, the numbers are still worse than any year before 2019.
Yeah. So look, first of all, if we're getting better every year by 5%. I think we should celebrate that, and we should be grateful to the effort of educators, parents and the students themselves for showing up. However, 58.4% is 21.6% less than the 80% target we have, and that's why it's critical that we keep going. At the start of next year, every school by law will have an attendance action plan, be rolling out the STAR, the Stepped Attendance Response Scheme, so we're going to have a strategy for every child at every level of attendance. If they're over 90, that's fine. If they're 80 to 90, that's a problem. If they're 70 to 80, that's a bigger problem. So we're going to get even more equipped to deal with attendance. We're rolling out a brand new system of IT so that it's easier to trace the students who aren't there. And we're also creating information sharing agreements between different departments, because attendance officers say we spend a whole lot of time chasing a student when actually another government department knew where they were. So all of those things will keep the progress going, I'm sure.
Why haven't we seen any prosecutions?
Simply, it's up to the Ministry of Education. They've made it very clear to schools, if you've got someone who's not a can't, but a won't, that go to school, then we're open to prosecuting them. Then the Ministry of Education, I understand there's been about 15 examples of this. They start assembling the information, but like any prosecutor, whether it's the police or anybody, you've got to actually know that the prosecution will stack up. There's no point going to court and getting laughed out of court, and they haven't taken one to court yet, but I'm sure they will. It'll be a matter of time.
What regulatory or legislative change needs to happen between now and the beginning of next year in order to put in place your framework from the start?
The Education Training Amendment Bill already passed. That mandates that there has to be an attendance action plan for every school.
Okay, so no further regulatory changes?
There will be a bit more. I think it's the Education Reform Bill. We may make some more amendments as that goes through the committee stages, but they'll be relatively minor.
Okay, and do you still stand by your comments that sushi is a woke food?
No, I've been interviewed about this, and well, look, I just normally, no matter who makes the mistake, I cover it. This one I'm disowning, and I feel so relieved by this.
So you eat sushi?
I love sushi. I actually love sushi.
What's your favourite type of sushi?
Look, mainly anything with salmon. So look, that was a comment that someone whose name will never be known put on my social media. It seriously pissed me off. Normally I defend them. I did for a while. Now I'm free.
Because did you see that there was a recent kind of census or survey that was done of students, and their number one favourite food that came out across New Zealand was sushi?
Well, that just sounds like woke kids to me. Just kidding.
Can I ask you, there are renewed calls, as there often are, for universal dental care. What's exposition on the topic?
Anyone that still wants that policy should go to the UK and check out people's teeth. Seriously, as soon as you say that we're going to have government dental care, the government might pay, but the government also decides how much you get, how long you wait, and how good it is. And the answer from the United Kingdom, which has this policy, is it's not very good, and neither are your teeth. Thank you very much. Cheers.